We were born for freedom. Hey, what's up, Ragers? The Ultra Maga Empire, the uncancelable, the 1A Army. We are the Sith, and we are here to crush the liberal scum. Okay, so regarding yesterday, I started drinking as soon as I got up. And then my boyfriend came over, and then we went shopping, and then we made dinner and kept drinking and drinking and drinking and having fun. And there came a certain point where I just said, you know what? I cannot do this. I cannot do this party. I'm too fucked up to do this party. So I basically didn't show up to my own party. I turned off my phone, hung out with these wonderful people, these wonderful veterans that I live with, as well as my hot, sexy, former Navy SEAL boyfriend. So, yeah, I missed my own party. The party was here. There was a real life party. I did go to a party. It just wasn't the party for Zach. So we'll do it tonight if I can. I think I can commit to 2 hours of streaming so that we can honor Zach and let him know that we love him. We will never forget about him. He is not out of our memory. He is not out of our hearts. And even though he's very alone, that he is not alone. And we want to make sure that we can send that message to his wife as well. Follow me on Instagram. That is my personal page. That is where you get the full body shots, as well as Thirst Traps and Therapy, all the Red Pill Reading Club. Not all, but some of the Red Pill Reading Club is on there. And just that's, just shit, personal shit, not too much politics on there. However, I'm very political on Twitter at Rage Red Pill. TikTok at Not Red Pill Rage. Send me an email at redpilltv@protonmail.com. And if you are in the parallel economy, and if you're not in the parallel economy, but you need to get on the parallel economy, join me on Truth Social, Gab, and Rumble at Red Pill Rage. The fundraiser is still going until 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Get your donations in, www.defendzach.com. If you made a donation and I do not know about it, make sure you find me. You either send me an email right here, screenshot that, or send me a DM right here. You can screenshot that. You can also send me a message on Twitter. Just let me know that you've made your donations, okay? Let me know, okay? We got to get those in by 9 p.m. tonight. It's currently about 3 p.m., so in 6 hours. Oh, look at all these birthday wishes. Happy Halloween. Happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas. Finally turned 21. Well, thank you. Not quite 21. The big 40. Look at me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm 40. I'm 40. No filters, bitch. Look at me. Hair is still shiny. Skin is still golden and tight and very, very, very little stretch marks. Okay, everything. The girls are still nice and plump and full and yummy. Everything's still tight. Teeth looking good. Yes, 40 years old, looking good. Looking good. Very proud of that. Hey, Persian Cucumber. It has been a very long time since you've been on my channel. Welcome back. Happy you're here. Jenny Animal, happy to have you here. Welcome back. All these old school people. Where have you guys been for the last year and a half? Get your donations in. Get your donations in. We're going to party later on tonight. Going to keep this thing going. I don't have much energy. It's even hard for me to talk. I'm like out of breath just talking. But I made a commitment to my donors, and I made a commitment to Zach, and I made a commitment to his wife. So we will have this party tonight. I'm gonna need to sleep for about a week. I'm gonna need to sleep for about a week after this 48-hour celebration that I'm halfway through. Plead the fifth. Huh. Nice, full, plump, and yummy, and so modest too. You have so much to be modest about. I ain't modest. What are you talking about? I ain't modest. Diamond Lil is with a group that writes them letters as well. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, can you get that information to me? Willie, can you please get that information to me so we can put that on one of my websites? I'd love to have a tab as far as action items goes. I want to make sure that one of our action items is that we keep our brothers encouraged and we keep our brothers in our hearts. Okay. Not with those terrible tats. Okay. Thank you for your input. Brian is here. Hey, how are you, Brian? Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. Appreciate it. Go to Diamond Little on YouTube. Okay, let's see what that is. There you go, Heather. All right, so. Is this fellowship with family, fellowship with friends? Is that what this is, Willie? Is this her?
Sleeping, I had dark circles under my eyes.
John had such a has had such a miraculous.
Really, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, that is nice. Yeah.
Help everybody in the area to be safe. Let there be minimal.
Is she like a Christian? She's like, she has like a Bible stream or something, a prayer stream.
Okay.
Oh yeah, some religious
up here.
stuff.
How about believe in
Okay, thank you for that.
You're up.
Thank you for sharing that. I'd like to say some things video chat real quick, if that's cool. Absolutely. Let me put the invite to the StreamYard link. There's the link. You guys, anyone wants to jump in, you're welcome to do so. We still haven't finished this bottle. I had to take a break and go to White Claws. Oh, Frank, you can't get up in the morning and see those awful tats in the mirror and seriously think for even a second that they in any way look good. I like my tats. Thank you for your feedback. Appreciate it. I know this one's not finished up here, but the rest of them are finished. All right, Heavy Metal, if you want to jump in, jump in. Or anybody else. Jenny Animal, if you're still here, you're welcome to jump in. Willie, if you want to talk more. Persian Cucumber, Jenny Animal. Come on in. Come on down. Come on down. Come in, babe. She stopped barking at you for a second. Yeah. Waiting on Jay over here. Jump in, Jay. Oh my God, it's so loud. Jay, refresh your screen and see if you can come on in. Oh my God. Oh my God. At least I'm not living with commies. Jay, if you want to refresh and try to come back in, if it's not working on your laptop, try it on your cell phone. If it's not working on your cell phone, try it on your laptop. There is a StreamYard link for anybody who wants to jump in. Oh my God. I need to get a job quick. All right, while we're waiting for people to jump in, I think we are going to go ahead and play an episode from Epoch TV or Facts Matter. There are some Boondock Saints stories that I wanted you guys to listen to. So, Jay, if you want to jump in the stream, go ahead and do that. I'm waiting. Last call. Jay, if you want to jump in, come on back. Last call. All right. All right, so let's go ahead with this one. This is Jay Boondocks Saints experiencing cruel and unusual punishment at hands of police, prosecutors, and Congress. Congressman Representative Andy Biggs on Facts Matter.
To keep somebody in solitary confinement more than 2 weeks violates international law. The judiciary has acted corruptly. The police have acted corruptly. There's been a breakdown in the prosecutorial system where the prosecutors are prosecuting these people disproportionately and with disparate interests. And it is something that, in my opinion, is so antithetical to who we are as the United States of America. The judges have said, we want to teach a lesson to other people that so they will never do this type of thing. Well, I get general deterrence, but the reality is you're violating this individual's rights.
Congressman Andy Biggs, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
So I wanted to start our discussion by talking about January 6th. So we have a documentary that recently came out, The Real Story of January 6th.
Right.
I played a small part in it. I conducted an interview with a January 6th, essentially political prisoner,
Right.
been in solitary confinement for the past 18 months now. Pretty shocking. Let me ask you this. How is this possible?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible because the judiciary has acted corruptly, the police have acted corruptly, there's been a breakdown in the prosecutorial system where the prosecutors are prosecuting these people disproportionately and with disparate interests. Their own attorneys, in some cases, as I'm sure you know, have had interest and animus toward their clients. So all that's happened, and there's just a handful of us in Congress that are even talking about that. And it is something that, in my opinion, is so antithetical to who we are as the United States of America. To keep somebody in solitary confinement more than 2 weeks violates international law. So we violate international law. I've listened to judges sentence a 69-year-old woman with cancer, basically trespassed. He said, I don't believe your contrition. I don't believe that you're contrite about this. So we're going to put you in jail for 60 days. This is a woman who needs her medical care because she's got cancer. You've got families that have been torn apart. The individual yesterday sentenced to 7 years in prison. This is despair. You ask, how can this happen? This can happen when the media, outside of you guys and a few others, have been complicit. And you've got people in Congress like Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi. They chose to call this an insurrection. This was not an insurrection. The FBI has the largest manhunt in the history of the United States. For what?
Yeah.
For what? Some people that were rioters that came into the Capitol. And is that shocking and bad? Yes, it was shocking and bad. But the disparity that we have seen in their treatment, and people like Antifa and BLM who rioted, or the guy who attacked the police officer in New York City the other day in the subway, he's out in hours. The guy who attempted to assassinate Lee Zeldin, he's out in hours. And these guys are in solitary confinement. Some were denied medical care. This is the outrage of what's happening in America today.
Yeah, and it's really shocking because, especially the guy I was talking to, I spoke to a few, but the one in the movie, I asked him repeatedly, I said, well, what is the actual justification for keeping you locked up? Because that's what I'm most interested in. Because, we can talk about the breakdown of the judicial system, but I'm always interested in, okay, in your specific case, what is their justification? And oftentimes it's like, well, they're a flight risk or they're a danger to society. But then you dig into the case and it's such, I guess the judges have such a broad discretion to make such a decision that technically, I guess they could make it, but then they're keeping these people locked up for 18 months sometimes in solitary confinement. It just doesn't, it seems like cruel and unusual punishment on its face. I guess maybe I'm naive, but I can't see a justification for that on any merits.
It violates the Constitution. So in multiple ways. So there are federal guidelines on release, and there are only certain places that you can keep them in. And these people have been kept in, even though they're not really flight risks. We know where all these people are. That's how we found them. Most of them have
they're
jobs,
at work.
or had jobs.
They're at work.
Lost them with this unnecessary incarceration.
Oh yeah.
And it is one of these things where you go, how can the judges and the prosecutors and the attorneys be so unreasonable? And I'm like you. I've looked into some specific cases. I've talked to lawyers representing some of these individuals, and I said, tell me, what is the concern with the statutes, the release statutes pre-trial? They say, we don't have them. They can't articulate them. But they're mad. They're mad. They're left-wingers. This is being done, and the judges have said, we want to teach a lesson to other people so they will never do this type of thing. Well, I get general deterrence, but the reality is you're violating this individual's rights. Everybody has a speedy trial right. You can waive that, but part of the reason they're having to waive it is because if they want a trial, DOJ is releasing discovery very slowly and very late. I talked to a guy who was representing somebody at a trial. They got their stuff just a few days before the trial. And it was a mountain of information they had to try and go through before the actual trial. That's why people are saying, well, maybe the FBI needs a revisit. Maybe the DOJ needs to be revisited and have better oversight by Congress. And I agree.
If, come November, if the Republicans take over the House, is there anything that can be done? Is there any kind of committee that can be formed, any kind of oversight board or any kind of potential investigation that can be launched into this particular case, into the J6 prisoners?
Yeah, I think so. So in January, when we actually take the gavels and we have our chairman, I am urging our chairman to actually take this up and bring this to the forefront. I'm hoping to have a gavel. I'm the senior member on one subcommittee right now, and that committee would actually have jurisdiction over at least portions of this, and we would have that kind of oversight hearing if I have the gavel.
All right, just to pause here for a super quick moment, I wanted to mention that the sponsor are not paying you and your recipient. They are only to head on over to save some money. And today, as it was happening, very interesting. The final report comes out. It showed some potential irregularities. The report went over to Mark Brnovich, the Attorney General of Arizona, and then crickets for a very long time, not saying, hey, we looked into it, we found nothing, or we looked into it, we confirmed it, just crickets. Do you know anything about what's happening with that final report?
Well, he's issued a number of interim, what I would call letters or memos.
Yes, some
critical
40.
about various aspects of the audit. So I don't know really what ultimately will come out of the AG's office. But one of the things is I was talking to the original Judiciary Committee chairman of the Senate that had issued the subpoenas to Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. And I said, what happened? He said, we never could get enough votes to hold them in contempt, number one. And number two, they never gave all the data and all the hardware and software necessary to actually complete the audit. So finally the Senate gave up and just pulled the plug on the audit, and they did the best they could with what information they had. And I actually confronted one of the board members of the Board of Supervisors in a hearing, and he admitted that they had this and he was going to give it to us and never did. And that's what's gone on here. And it leaves people mistrusting of the whole apparatus of elections.
Because with especially Mark Brnovich, I know he put out a few memos and notes, but that was after quite a while and kind of leading into his own election season. And it kind of made a lot of people speculate, and it's hard for me to look at the facts and not at least agree that it's possible. He's trying to play both sides. He doesn't want to just come out and say, hey, I looked into this, it's not much, versus like, hey, I looked into it, and it does seem like some funny business went on. He's trying to play kind of both fields. Now, of course, I don't want to electioneer or whatever, his election is his own. Do you find that might be the case, that he's kind of playing that game?
I think there's always a political component and stuff like that. That primaries happened, and he lost.
Sorry about the party. We're going to do it tonight, Mr. Brading.
We'll see what happens going forward, and with who the new Attorney General is going forward.
Do you see any hope, if there's a new Attorney General, that anything can at least be resolved? That's the key. A lot of people are just wondering, when can this be resolved?
I think there's potential hope. The Attorney General candidate is going to be Abe Hamada. I think he's interested in seeing about it. I don't know that he made it central to his campaign, but I'm hoping that at some point we know exactly what happened. I mean, I get beat up now saying, "Oh yeah," you and I said, "Look, don't you want to know what happened?" And they say, "Well, we already know what happened." I said, "No, we actually never even completed the audit."
Well, Congressman Biggs, thank you so much.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so that is from Andy Biggs. Andy Biggs has he took a little heat from Brandon Straka at CPAC, and you may or may not have heard about this. I wasn't going to talk about it. I did speak about it briefly. But when Walkaway had their booth at CPAC, what they basically set up was like a jail cell. And Brandon came in after his speech on Friday or Saturday, I believe. And he came in with an orange jumpsuit. And he was really trying to illustrate how dire the situation is for the Boondock Saints. And I agree with him. You know, I would have liked it if he had perhaps put pictures of everyone who's currently in jail. But he just put a picture of his own mugshot, which is fine. You know, that's fine. If you heard about it, Vice News basically snuck into CPAC along with a bunch of other fucking liberal ass media people undercover and bloggers undercover. They snuck into CPAC. They, you know, doing what they always do and doing what the media always does, digging for dirt, trying to make us look bad, trying to see who's so extreme and all that other bullshit. But I'm going to go ahead and play it for you. I wasn't going to, but I'm going to play you the speech, the panel that Andy Biggs was on, who is the representative that you just listened to, as well as Brandon Straka, as well as Kash Patel. Okay, this is a really intense speech. It's 19 minutes. We're going to listen to all of it. It got a little wild. I'm not going to lie. It got a little wild in the room when this subject was brought up. Brandon, I thought, was very effective at making his story real for everybody, but also, you know, speaking up for those who are still in pretrial detention.
I'd like to get right to it. We have a little less than 20 minutes here. I just want to start by reading a couple headlines and get the flavor of what we're going to be talking about. This is from the Atlantic. The DOJ must prosecute Trump. This is from CNN. New York AG's investigation against Trump can continue, federal judge rules. From Fox, Tucker Carlson. Why are January 6th protesters still in jail while murderers won? 3. Facebook banned over 1.3 billion accounts over 3 months to combat fake and harmful content. And from RT, Facebook banned pro-Trump Walkaway group as social media turns up censorship crackdown. So with that, let me turn to Congressman Biggs and just get this rolling and get your thoughts.
Well, when we start talking about a gulag, I think of a couple of things. First of all, it's political prisoners.
Right.
And I also think of Soviet-style justice, where there is no justice, where everything is baked in already, where you've got prosecution colluding with the defense attorneys, colluding with the judges. They know what they want to accomplish. The police apparatus of the United States, with its DOJ base, they know what they want to do, and for political purposes, all of the institutions of the United States have been weaponized, not unlike the former Soviet Union. That's what I think of when I think of gulag, an American gulag.
I agree, Cass.
Well, as a former federal public defender and Justice Department national security prosecutor, it's insane to me and unconstitutional to see January 6th defendants who have little.
Someone asks, "Are you Meghan Markle's sister?" Asking for a friend. I'm her thick sister, but we have a lot in common actually. So Meghan Markle went to school in LA. I went to school in LA. Meghan Markle's first boyfriend was Joshua Silverstein, who is my daughter's godfather. So yeah, 6 degrees of separation. I told you guys, I've been around celebrities my whole life. Carney Wilson was at my baby shower. Y'all don't know about me, but no, I'm not Meghan Markle's sister. But I used to joke around that, Prince Harry should have married me because He could have married me, and we would have straightened out England, and there wouldn't be any woke shit, and we would have gotten Antifa out of England, and we could have done a lot. I guess I'm not his type, but I kind of am. All right. It would have straightened England all the way out.
Censorship crackdown. So with that, let me turn to Congressman Davis and just get this rolling and get your thoughts. Well, when we start talking about a gulag, I think of a couple of things, not unlike the former Soviet Union. That's what I think of when I think of gulag, an American gulag. I agree, Catherine.
Well, as a former federal public defender and Justice Department national security prosecutor, it's insane to me and unconstitutional to see January 6th defendants who have little or no criminal history, nonviolent backgrounds, north of 60 years old, being detained for over a year on offenses that would never seek pretrial detention. And the big is talking about, it's not just the justice, it's not just the attorney general. They've recognized the intelligence community and law enforcement community, but they've also got the judges. There is no federal judge in this country that could possibly detain the majority of these people, yet they're letting illegal immigrants who've been murdered and raped walk out on bond, with American citizens charged with misdemeanor offenses or low-level felonies. That is the definition of a third world gulag, and it's happening in Washington, D.C.
So I guess what I can say is that I was present on January 6th, as I think most people know. I was scheduled to be a speaker at the Capitol on that day. I was approaching my scheduled speaking engagement when I began getting text messages from people who were watching at home saying that they were hearing that people were going inside of the building, which made me very curious because that sounded like an unusual circumstance. I was on the east side of the building, which is the opposite side of the building, where later we found out people had broken windows and committed acts of violence. When I arrived, the doors on the east side of the building were open. I walked up to the top of the steps and I shot a video for 8 minutes, which I put on Twitter. I never entered the Capitol. I stood on the east side steps for 8 minutes. 2.5 weeks later, an FBI squad raided my apartment, put me in handcuffs and took me to jail. I sat in jail for days, and when I got out, I found out I was facing multiple felony charges and a misdemeanor. And this began what became well, it hasn't ended. It's actually, in the last couple of weeks, they're coming after me again on new things related to my case, which I thought was over. Because I stood on the east side steps for 8 minutes, I have been permanently banned by PayPal, Venmo, Stripe, Patreon, email services. I've been put on a terrorism watch list so that when I go to the airport, I have to go through hours of screening. But what I want to say and make really clear while I have this stage is what's been most horrifying of all is not the behavior of the left. It's been the silence of the right.
This is when it gets wild. It's about to get wild. Hold on.
Between the years of 2018 and 2020, nobody worked harder for President Trump than I did. I'll go toe-to-toe with any person in this room if they think they did more for President Trump than I did.
That I will agree with. As an influencer, Brandon Straka probably visited more places, probably opened up and reached out to more people. And he really should have been on Trump's campaign trail. He really should have been hired by the Trump campaign. And there's many of us who feel that way. One of the biggest mistakes I think that Trump made as a president was that he did not have people around him that had his best interest at heart, as well as people around him who could better attempt to control the narrative of Trump being a racist and being a bigot and being a homophobe and all that other bullshit. Okay. He needed people like me. He needed people like Brandon Straka. We should have been on fucking payroll for Trump. But when you have gatekeepers, as Trump had many around him, and this was the mistake that he made, he didn't have the best campaign strategy, and more could have been done. And it's easy to say that in retrospect, but I know I agree that Brandon Straka did work harder than anyone else to get people to convert from being Democrats to being Republicans and supporting this president. and trying to make people see the bigger picture of what's going on in this country. So I will agree with Brandon Straka on that for sure.
And Trump and I did. I'll go toe to toe with any person in this room if they think they did more for President Trump than I did. Nobody got the Republican Party. Nobody got more people to walk away from the Democratic Party and become a Republican.
It's true.
And for me to go through what I went through and not have a single person stand up and say, we've got your back and this is wrong, is disgraceful. It's a disgrace.
Wait, watch.
We have a congressman on stage. I want to ask, what are you guys going to do about it?
So this is Brandon Straka confronting Andy Biggs, who we just heard being interviewed by Epoch TV. I think he's a representative in Florida, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, he's definitely a MAGA Republican. He's definitely America First Republican. And he has tried, but watch how Brandon confronts him. Watch. All hell's about to break loose at CPAC. I'm just giving you the audio. This is when people start standing up and getting mad. It's great.
But that doesn't change a thing. And if you don't even name the names of 5 people sitting in the DC prison right now, I'll write you a check for $10,000.
He called him out.
So I appreciate it, and I appreciate the frustration. But I want you to know that it wasn't nobody that stood up and declaimed and criticized what was happening to you and other January 6th prisoners.
You're still in jail.
It's still happening. And it's still happening. But I will tell you this. There are probably a dozen of us who have attempted to get into jail. And that is to attack what's going on the other side. We didn't get the support from a majority of Republicans. I'm just going to be frank.
No, they do not.
And we continue to push. And we continue. I've worked with lawyers who represented members.
They're still in jail, though.
Individuals in jail.
Do you think it's odd that I haven't heard from a single sitting member of Congress with what I've gone through with the Republican side? I have contacted people who have taken my phone calls. I have not been approached by anyone. You sat on my stage in 2019 in a Las Vegas. You know me. You probably have my phone number.
I do not. But I do know this, that I have worked with lawyers who have represented J6 defendants. I have met with them. We've tried to come up with ways to devise to protect as much as possible. What you went through is not just inappropriate, it's inhumane, it's unjust, and it's un-American.
And it's not over.
And it's not over. And I realize
And so, just because they're in, and I know Congressman Andy Biggs and a couple other guys that have been fighting in Congress, just because they get drowned out by other people who fail to act on January 6th defendants' behalf, doesn't mean that people aren't fighting for them quietly or get drowned out in the media. I've seen what he's done. People have stood up foundations and tried to get in the jail. So the former federal prosecutor and public defender who actually defended rapists and murderers and narco traffickers and got them bond. Nobody cared, but there is a group that cares. These people are funneling money through foundations to help J6 defendants. I know I'm doing it.
Who?
I do it for the notoriety. And this congressman, along with a few others that I can name, isn't out there trying to claim the media grab for it. And whether or not you personally hear from someone doing something, I think it is dismissive of the people that are doing the work on the front lines.
Who?
Everybody's doing nothing. A lot of people are doing too much of nothing, but there's a few people doing a whole ton of stuff to support the January.
Nobody is out of jail yet. Nobody got out of jail.
It cost me $200,000. I didn't complain about it. I went there, testified, and demanded my transcript be public so the world knows what the truth about January 6th. Those are efforts people can also get behind to support January 6th and the truth and all of the J6 defendants.
There is a reason that 5 of us have been attacked by this January 6th committee. There is a reason that we've been threatened with prosecution, but there's a reason that 5 of us have been attacked. And I'm one of those. And it isn't because I've sat silent, and it isn't because I haven't been fighting.
Thank you, Jenny.
You're sitting across from me right now, so just to be clear, yeah, you're taking the brunt of a lot of my heat right now, but that's because you happen to be here. I wish I could talk to every single one of you right now, today. I can't all of you. But let me also say, if you want to be out there fighting for J6 defendants and you want to be out there fighting for the truth and for justice for people, the first logical step to take would be contact people and ask them what they've been through. You guys have no idea what's going on. You don't. You might think that you do, but you don't. It's not normal for people facing misdemeanor charges to be committing suicide. That's not normal.
Matthew Turner.
6 defendants have committed suicide. 2 of them are facing misdemeanor charges. It's not normal for people on first offense misdemeanors to be spending months in federal prison. That's not normal. And I do talk to J6 defendants, people that I've gotten to know since I was arrested, and we all share the exact same torment, which is we expect the left to be terrible. The left's doing what the left does. They're being evil, they're being duplicitous, they're being horrible. But where the hell is our team?
Yep. Yes.
Because we teach them by how we respond and how we react to things. When they see me getting the hell kicked out of me for a year and a half, and you guys doing nothing, it teaches them that they can do it to them, and them, and them, and them, and them. They're next. And what they have been through. We have headsets that we can put on and listen to them tell their stories because nobody experienced this.
I'd like to ask, what can be done to punish who are doing this?
Great.
Yeah, so first of all, I appreciate that I'm your opiniotic today. That's fine. That's fine. But the reality is, there are a dozen of us who have met with families of survivors, of those who have killed themselves, and we have done it sometimes overtly and sometimes quietly. But I appreciate, to some extent, the anger that you manifested today. I don't think anybody can understand it because I have to live it. I've lived my own deal, which is nothing compared to you. And I appreciate you sharing your feelings about it. Now, having said that, how you punish these people is you get control back of the government. And we don't have control of the government right now. We sit there idle in the minority of the minority. We have to get the House back, we have to get the Senate back. And then we have to bring them in, and we have to, there are things you can do. You can do a home rule.
That's not good enough. They're in jail now. It's not good enough.
These bad agencies, the FBI, If you go to jail, you use the home rule to confront people who have abused their power. You bring impeachment articles against the judges who have violated due process rights in the federal statute.
I agree.
For instance,
Are people going to have to sit in jail until 2024 for this to happen, though? Can we really bank on A, Donald Trump running, B, him winning, C, us as conservatives protecting the election process, so to even get him where he needs to be? And then is this going to be the first? Is he going to pardon everybody and let everyone out of jail? Is that the fantasy that we're all living in? These men and some women are in prison now. They are losing almost 2 years of their lives at this point. Zach has never held his baby. His baby's like damn near gonna be a year old at a certain point soon. He's never touched his child. He hasn't kissed his wife or his older daughter in 2 years almost. That's not good enough, Andy Biggs. It's not good enough to say, okay, we need to make sure we take back the House. We need to make sure we take back the Senate. We need to bring articles of impeachment against judges that held them in these pretrial detentions. Okay, how much longer are people going to have to wait, though? That's my question. And this, I believe, is where Straka's outrage came from. And I wouldn't call it outrage in terms of being out of control or mad for no reason. Not that kind of outrage, but legitimate, defensible outrage about what's happening. This is where the frustration, he should have never gotten, Brendan Straka should have never fucking got arrested in the first place. He didn't go into the Capitol. He was outside. He didn't even go in. And he went to jail, got felony charges, got pled out to a misdemeanor, sat on house arrest for 90 days. Allegedly, supposedly spent $100,000 in legal fees, which I don't personally think is true, but okay, if he says it, fine. I don't have the receipts to debate that that's what he spent in legal fees, but I highly doubt it was that high. But nonetheless, he's still bringing attention to everyone who's suffering. And I respect that, you know. It doesn't seem like anybody has a solution here. It doesn't seem like anybody, including Andy Biggs, has a plan of attack, has a strategy. They have a long-term strategy, but they don't have a strategy for right now. And that's the problem.
Experience this. I'd like to ask, what can be done to punish you? But I appreciate, to some extent, the anger that you're manifesting today. I don't think anybody can understand it because I haven't lived it. I've lived my own deal, which is nothing compared to you. And I appreciate you sharing your feelings on it. Now, having said that, how you punish these people is you get control back of the government. And you don't have control of the government right now.
That doesn't help Zach right now. That doesn't help Joe Biggs right now. That doesn't help Christopher Worrell right now. That doesn't help anybody else who's in jail right now.
And that's what you do is you start defunding some of these bad agencies, the FBI. If you go to jail, you use the home rule to confront people who have abused their power. You bring impeachment articles against the judges who have violated due process rights in the federal statute. For instance, on pretrial detention. Unlike Nash, I've gone through a lot of these files. I don't see any basis for no attention. You violated international law by keeping people in solitary confinement for more than 4 weeks. That's torture. And our country has evolved to that. The way you do it is you have to get control of the government.
We don't have time for that. How many of our brothers are going to kill themselves before they get out?
And run righteous oversight investigations like we did Russiagate, it was supposed to be a criminal conspiracy in U.S. history. It's possible, but what Congressman Biggs is saying, and some of his colleagues are right, you have to have more than just 10, more than just 20. But the other piece that you have to do that we've been working on is educate Americans on what actually happened on January 6th, because, you know, just analogize it to the Russiagate situation. Half of America still thinks President Trump is a Russian asset because they watched the fake news media for 5 straight years. January 6th is the next iteration of that from the radical left. What happened was clear as day. Chief of Staff of the United States Department of Defense sitting in the Oval Office where President Trump authorized up to 20,000 National Guard 2 days before January 6th to secure the Capitol building. Nancy Pelosi and
She said no.
Shut that request down.
Yep.
In writing, if you don't believe it, the documents are online for you
Yep.
guys to go see. Why is that critical? Liz Cheney comes out on national TV last week to try to prevent latest Pinata effect, and it's working because everyone is talking about more disinformation from January 6th. She says President Donald Trump, he didn't call you on January 6th and he didn't order the deployment of the National Guard. That's because it's unconstitutional for the military to be ordered by a president domestically. And she knows that because her husband, or excuse me, her father was Secretary of Defense during the 92 LA riots. That Secretary of Defense authorized the National Guard to go to California from a governor's request, and that is how it lawfully works. Too much of America is focused on the fact that they said Donald Trump failed or other leaders failed. We acted for the no-fail national security mission like we always did, whether it was killing Al-Qaeda, bringing home hostages, or securing our border. Our border within is just as important, and on that day and the days before, we acted righteously. So.
And remember, Kash Patel was Assistant Secretary to Secretary of Defense. Okay, that's this guy that you see right here in this picture. He's the one talking. He was the assistant to the Secretary of Defense under Donald Trump administration.
Acted to get you just as much as the information we're talking about with Congressman Biggs and Brandon. I like it. I hope that's
Congressman, when if Republicans take the House, will there be an investigation of the January 6th? Yeah, I believe so. And here's what takes place. It takes either the Oversight Committee or the Judiciary Committee. And I have requested the 2 gentlemen who will most likely be the chairman of that committee that can do that. Brandon.
I have one last question, and it's not a mean one.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
When we take back control of Congress in November and we have this investigation, will you promise me in front of all of these people that I will have the opportunity to testify before Congress about what I went through?
That's right, Brandon. Well, shit, me too. Put me in front of Congress. Put me in front of Congress. I'll talk. Shit. So many Antifa there that day. It was ridiculous. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the live. Thank you guys for being here. Lots of old faces coming back to the channel. It's good to have you here. Got some new faces here too. Whether you're old or new, please consider donating to defendzach.com, Cash App, Zach is innocent. Email your screenshot of your receipt to redpilltv@protonmail.com, or you can send it to me in the DMs on Instagram @redpilljenny, or in the DMs on TikTok @rageredpill. Okay, let's get those in. Okay, let's get those in. 9 o'clock tonight. I need to take a nap right now. But 9 o'clock tonight, we are going to have the actual private birthday party stream party. Okay, the official party. I've got a nice playlist for you. We've got Bro here, who is going to talk about Joe Biggs, not Andy Biggs, Joe Biggs, who is a real life friend, and talk about, say some nice things about Joe Biggs. We're going to read that prayer that we read that we read at the last private stream. We're going to pray for Zach and his family. And we're going to listen to a bunch of music, and there's going to be some cooking. There's going to be some drinking. I mean, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. All right. So make sure you're there. www.defendzach.com or Cash App. Zach is innocent. I have given you an extra day. An extra day. I have postponed the party so that you guys can come in and get your donations in, and we can do this. Okay. All right, y'all. Patriots, stand tall and stay based.